Ambassador Tom Reed smiled pleasantly as the Galactic Council representatives stared at him with their various sensory organs. His smile didn't reach his eyes. It never did these days. "We regret to inform you that the human petition for military assistance has been denied," announced High Counselor Vex, his translucent membranes pulsating with diplomatic patterns. "The Council has determined that the Crawl incursion into your colony worlds represents a territorial dispute that must be resolved through proper channels." Tom nodded politely, maintaining the facade of diplomatic decorum that humans had perfected over their 50 years in the galactic community. Behind him, Captain Alex Jones of the Earth Defense Force shifted her weight slightly. Only another human would recognize it as barely restrained fury. "High Counselor," Tom replied, his voice measured and calm. "Proper channels have failed us for 3 years. The Crawl have glassed 2 colony worlds. 12 million human lives lost." Vex's secondary appendages fluttered in the alien equivalent of dismissal. "The Council sympathizes with your losses, but intervention would violate our neutrality principles." A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembled representatives. Humans were, after all, merely Deathworlders, creatures from a harsh, high-gravity planet with ridiculous environmental extremes, barely civilized by galactic standards, tolerated primarily for their unusual resilience as traders and laborers in environments most species found inhospitable. Tom exchanged a glance with Alex. This was the response they had expected, but protocol demanded they try diplomacy one final time. "We understand," Tom said, closing his diplomatic tablet. "Earth will handle this situation independently." High Counselor Vex's speaking membranes rippled with alarm. "Ambassador, surely you understand that independent military action is strictly forbidden by Galactic Compact." Tom shrugged. "What's the punishment again?" "Sanctions, expulsion from Council space, potentially permanent isolation from the galactic community," Vex replied, his translator struggling to convey his disbelief at the human's cavalier attitude. Tom smiled again, this time genuinely. "Thank you for your time, counselors." As the human delegation exited the Grand Chamber, silence fell over the assembly. None of the alien representatives fully comprehended what they had just witnessed, a species calmly accepting exile from galactic civilization rather than accepting the loss of their colonies. 3 days later, Admiral Meg Foster stood on the bridge of the EDF Nova, watching as her fleet assembled at the edge of the Orion Arm, well away from major trade routes. 60 warships, Earth's entire interstellar navy, had gathered in formation. "All ships report ready, Admiral," her first officer, Commander James Wilson, announced. Meg nodded. "Open fleet-wide comms." When the channel opened, she spoke clearly and without ceremony. "This is Admiral Foster. For 50 years, humanity has played by the Galactic Council's rules. We've hidden our strength, curbed our instincts, and pretended to be just another spacefaring species. We've respected their fear of Deathworlders like us." She paused, letting her words reach every ship in the fleet. "That ends today. The Crawl believed the Council's protection would shield them from consequences. They were wrong. Earth stands alone now, but we stand unbowed. Our mission is simple: the complete neutralization of the Crawl military capability and the rescue of any human survivors on occupied worlds. We stop pretending today. Show them what Deathworlders really are." A cheer erupted across the comms. Jump coordinates are transmitted. Formation hammer. Engage when ready. 60 ships vanished into FTL, heading toward Crawl space. High General Draz of the Crawl Dominion was celebrating the successful annexation of another human colony when the alarms began. His compound shields activated automatically as his command staff rushed to battle stations. "Report," he barked. His subordinate's scales paled. "Human warships, sir. 60 of them. They've bypassed our outer defenses somehow." Draz sneered. "Impossible. Their ships are primitive courier vessels with minimal weapons," the Council assured us. The floor shook violently as something massive impacted the planetary shield. "Sir, the humans. Their ships aren't configured as registered with the Council. These are dedicated war vessels." Draz's inner eyelids flickered in confusion. The humans don't have warships. They've never built any since joining the Council. They built them in secret, sir, and they're deploying ground forces. Another impact rocked the command center. The main view screen showed human dropships deploying what looked like armored soldiers. But the armor wasn't the light environmental protection the Council permitted. These were heavy combat exoskeletons, turning each human into a walking weapon platform. Contact the Council. Draz ordered. Demand intervention. The humans have violated every regulation. His communications officer worked frantically before looking up with dread. Sir, the Council has disavowed knowledge of this conflict. They've classified it as beyond their jurisdiction since the humans have accepted expulsion. For the first time in his military career, Draz felt fear. The Council had abandoned them to face the unleashed fury of Deathworlders. The Crawl War lasted 6 days. On the 7th day, Tom Ree returned to the Galactic Council chamber, alone and uninvited. The guards didn't stop him. They had seen the broadcast from Crawl Space. Humanity accepts its expulsion from the galactic community, he announced to the stunned silence. We will maintain a 100-light-year buffer zone between our territories and Council space. We suggest you respect it. High Counselor Vex's membranes were utterly still. The Crawl were a founding species of this council. They had thousands of years of civilization before humans discovered fire. Tom nodded. And now they don't. He placed a data crystal on the central podium. This contains the location of surviving Crawl civilian populations we've relocated to habitable worlds. They'll need assistance. As he turned to leave, a representative from the Jet Collective, one of the few species nearly as hardy as humans, called out, "What happens now?" Tom paused at the doorway. Now, humanity stops pretending we're something we're not. We'll build our own community out there, with species who understand that real civilization protects its own. Any worlds that wish to trade or ally with Earth are welcome. The rest of you should simply stay out of our way. The chamber doors closed behind him with quiet finality, leaving the Council to contemplate a galaxy forever changed by the day the Deathworlders stopped pretending.